Okay, so just good afternoon, everyone, and you're very welcome to our online postgraduate event for the Masters in Business for Agri-Food and Real Enterprise at Caffrey. And thank you for taking the time today to join us. So my name is Victoria Murphy, and I am currently the course manager for our Masters programme. So really the purpose of our event today is really just to give you an opportunity to come along and get a better insight into your postgraduate programme and hear about what we have to offer. So we'll first have a presentation from one of our team members, Teresa McCarney, who will talk to you about the programme and what the structure is, a bit about the modules, modes of study and what the requirements are. And then at the end, we also have Dervla McLaughlin, who is a past student, and she has kindly agreed to join us today and share some real life experiences from a student's perspective. If you have any questions, you can use the Q&A function, and we'll also have time at the end to answer any questions you may have. I hope you enjoy the event and find it useful, and I'll now pass you over to Teresa, who I will allow to introduce herself and start the presentation.
Yeah, hi everybody. I've been involved in the postgraduate programs for the last 5 years or so, I think, possibly now. And it's been people doing postgraduate studies. They were in their projects and in their studies. And we have a small team. So it's very easy to get students that are on the program and get to know their backgrounds and hopefully help them, make the most of their time with us. I'm just going to take you through a little bit. I'm trying to get the slideshows down. It's taking its time coming up me here. Go properly for me. There we go. Hopefully you can see. Victoria, can you just confirm you can see the screen all right there?
Yeah, I can see it, Teresa.
Okay, so I'm just going to take you a little bit through the programme and the entry criteria and what it involves and some little changes we've made for the coming year. So first of all, I suppose the question is, a lot of you probably have done a degree fairly recently now. And one of the questions is, why would you want to do any more study, or why would you bother doing a master's degree? And there has been quite a lot of research done into the benefits, I suppose, of progressing to master's or PhD studies. And these are such a little summary then of some of the main benefits. The first is that even after your degree, you might want to expand your knowledge and maybe broaden it a little bit, building on what you've learned in your initial degree. The second one is to make connections. As part of your program, you meet other people and you meet other businesses. We do a lot of visits out to different businesses, and through your lectures too, you make contacts and get opportunities for employment, whatever. You might be more interested in number 3 because studies have shown that people who do postgraduate qualifications generally end up making more money. So if you're financially motivated, that's one very important one. Well, what we find most people come to us for is really personal development. So this is people who have done a degree but maybe don't feel ready just to go into the workplace or want to take some time before they go into the workplace fully. Or we've quite a lot of people who have maybe been in one career path and want to change, come to us maybe more through the part-time or indeed through full-time study as well to switch the career focus. So you can develop yourself in your chosen career or even change your career by doing a postgraduate study. And obviously it helps. We're trying to train people here, particularly for the agri-food and rural industries across Northern Ireland. And obviously it helps with career progression if you have a postgraduate qualification, particularly doing research in the area. And last but by no means least, I think you can see from the faces of these people are all with Victoria here at the graduation. There's such a sense of accomplishment. We've just had graduation this year for our time. People who had been with us for 3 years and they graduated a couple of weeks ago. And the sense of accomplishment, I think, is significant because it is It's not easy. There's quite a big commitment in doing postgraduate study, and it takes quite a lot of effort. Derplin will maybe explain that a little bit more for the project, but there is a tremendous sense of accomplishment. And a lot of people would maybe taking time out between doing their degree and maybe coming to us maybe in their more mature years, and they really appreciate the sense of accomplishment they get from completing their studies. So that's just a wee general things of why you might want to do a master's. And then I'll explain a little bit now about our actual master's. So it's a taught master's program. You can do some masters by research, but this is a taught program. So there are 6 modules in it, plus the project. And at Loughry, we offer it here, quite unusually for Queen's, but we offer it both full-time and part-time. The key focus of the masters that we deliver is to develop managers for the agri-food and rural sectors in order to support the Northern Ireland economy. And you'll see that the fees we charge are slightly lower than you would pay maybe in other parts of Queen's, because as a department, we're trying to develop the management and the leadership within the agri-food sector. So I suppose you could say they're slightly subsidised in that way. Now, it's not just people who have an agri-food degree that we cater for. We take applicants from a wide range of degrees. But you would nearly all have an interest perhaps in developing management skills. And the programme is focused for business management within the agri-food sector. So the examples we use are mainly coming from the agri-food and rural sectors, but people have no problem with coping with the material from a wide range of backgrounds. We've had lawyers, teachers, a whole range of different people have come onto the programme and performed very well. The qualification is actually awarded by Queen's University, but it's all delivered at Loughry, and it's all delivered and assessed by Loughry staff and overseen by Queen's. So we're all part of the School of Biological Sciences at Queen's, but it's all delivered here at Loughry. I suppose I should stress maybe at this stage, from the title, it's Business for Agri-Food and Rural Enterprise, and it's a business qualification. It's not a technical qualification, so you may have done some food, science, geography, law, whatever it is. You might have done some technical skills in your primary degree, but what we're trying to do is build on the knowledge and scientific knowledge perhaps you have from your primary degree and give you the management and leadership skills then that will take you into a management position. So the content of the program you'll see as we go through is to do with business and management with an agri-food rural focus. So teaching times then, so the full-time programme is delivered on a Monday and Tuesday. The part-time is one evening a week. It's Thursday evenings from 7 to 9 p.m. All the modules, all 6 modules plus the project itself are assessed by coursework. So some people like that. There's no exams and it's very structured. You do, as you do each module, you get assessed in it and then you move on to the next set of modules. So that's nicely structured. And as I said, it's all delivered here at Loughry Campus. And just to explain the structure a wee bit to you then. So don't worry too much about the stages at the minute. So the whole thing is a master's degree and it is covered for the full-time students. You're here for the full calendar year. So you come in September, and between September and December, you do 3 modules. I just call the modules 1, 2, and 3 for now, which look at skills, organisational structures within business and training. And then in the second semester, which is January to May, you do the second set of modules, which is 4, 5, and 6. And then over the summer, you do the project. Now, if you're doing it part-time, it's exactly the same structure, but we do it a year at a time. So you do the first 3 modules over 1 year, the next 3 modules over the second year, and the third year is your project. So it's exactly the same structure. The reason we've got those stages there, certificate and diploma, it means that life sometimes gets in the way and a lot of things happen. And sometimes people aren't able to progress from 1 year to the next for various reasons. And the good thing about it is if you do the first semester, if you're full-time, or the first year, if you're part-time, you will get a postgraduate certificate, which is a qualification in its own right. And the same then if you do 6 modules, either full-time or part-time, you'll get a postgraduate diploma. And then all you need to do is do the project, and you have your formal full masters then. So it's nicely structured in that there's 3 modules each semester and then the research project at the end. And you, as I say, you'll be assessed on all those 3 modules in December, and then you move on, start the next set in January. Then you pass your modules in May and you move on to the project. Now what I'll do is I'll just very quickly go through a little bit of detail. I might be taking too long here for each of the modules. So the very long titles, it's just the way it was written, so the titles can be a bit confusing, but the first one is called Skills to Affect Change Within Businesses. And it really looks at communication models. The whole program is quite focused on communication because that's one of the key things within a company for managing and innovating and promoting change. It's all to do with communication. So there's some communication in there, personal communication and business communication, marketing, consumer behaviour, and there's a little bit of HR about interview skills and HR policies in there as well. Rural Business Dynamics looks at organisational structure and leadership. We look at examples within the industry of different companies, how they're structured, how the leadership and how management is developed within the company to try and get the most out of their workers. And again, communication skills within the business. The third one is slightly different. It's more about planning, delivering and assessing training. So you, as a trainer, as somebody perhaps within a HR team or in a management team in a company, would be able to assess training needs and perhaps deliver your own training sessions and assess them. So we do that's a little bit of practical work there where you deliver a session to either a group of people in a company or a group of students. Now, the next set then are more special, which gives you all the background to help you do your research project. So it's all about writing the proposal, doing some literature research, and coming up with your methodology for your project, so that when it comes to starting your project, you've already got the basics done and the first couple of chapters completed. Module 5 is about change management and the theory of change management, all the different models, project management, evaluation and monitoring, and again, the communication challenges throughout change management. And we have now a new module called Sustainability Leadership, and this is really building on, I suppose, the increased interest within the agri-food and indeed society in general in relation to environmental issues and climate change. So companies now need to be taking action and having their policies and systems in place to show sustainability leadership. So we're looking there at corporate social responsibility, ethics, environmental sustainability, so stakeholder engagement, how you work with your stakeholders in order to promote environmental sustainability, and any innovations need to link to environmental sustainability also in the current climate. So we're hoping to have a lot of outside speakers and a lot of information from the policy people as to how we're moving forward within the industry. So that should be a very interesting module, I think, for this year. And again, just to focus that it is a social science we're doing rather than a scientific master's. So what that means is we're looking at focusing on studying and understanding the people who work within the agri-food and rural sectors. And that's a very, very broad area. It brings in farmers and farming, food processing, retailing, food service, consumers, rural businesses, rural community networks, a load of agri-food, even mechanical businesses, suppliers and all that side of things. So it's a very, very wide range of businesses we work with. But what we're doing is really looking at how people relate to each other, their knowledge, attitudes and behaviour, and people's views on the production and marketing of food, farming and the environment. So a lot of our research projects would look at things like changes to the policy in relation to the age at slaughter and all that sort of thing, the new policies coming in and what farmers think about it. We've had people looking at sustainability issues in farming, carbon footprinting, and in the food sector. But we've also got people that are looking at a wide range of things. Like I had students this year looking at HLA, the higher level apprenticeship, and how that is being received within businesses across Northern Ireland, not just food businesses, but a wide range of businesses. We have people look at how primary school children are taught about agriculture and food provenance. We've had people look at companies and do case studies of companies and their management and change management within the company. So there's a whole range of things depending on your own interest. And the great thing about the projects that we do is that we let you choose your own project within reason, your own project title. So it can be something that you're interested in yourself. And that's quite unique, really, within the postgraduate sector. And it's something that our external examiners and Queen's would comment on very favourably every year. The wide range of projects we have and the quality of the work that's done within those projects. So that's a real strength, I think, of the whole programme. And it's something that's becoming very much more prominent within the whole sector at the moment, because there's a lot of change post-Brexit. I'm sure your Brexit is probably something that happened before you even were aware of it, but there's a lot of change in government policy. And now what the government are looking at is not so much writing down the laws, but how do you get farmers and others to adopt the practices? And it's a lot to do with changing people's attitudes and behaviours. And that's where we come in the kind of training we're giving you. We're helping you assess and investigate how policies can be improved and adapted so that farmers will take them on board. So it's a very, very fast moving area. And there's a whole wide range of topics that we can cover in projects. Now, the graduates, there are some comments, I'll not go through them, but we have a very wide range of graduates across the agri-food sector. And we have very, very positive feedback from students as to how useful they found how useful they found the programme, and how well their careers have progressed subsequent to their master's qualification. And there's some nice, happy, smiley faces for you. This is hopefully what it's going to be like at the end of the master's programme. So we celebrate the success both at Greenmount, and these scenes are mostly from, you'll recognise the Queen's building perhaps in the background. So some happy faces for those who graduated there recently. And just to finish up then, I'm just going to talk about the entry requirements. So we need a 2-2 honours degree or above in any qualification accepted at a university. So wide range of disciplines. And the best thing to do is, if you're not sure, just ask us. It says 2 honours degree, but sometimes if somebody has some extra recognised learning or whatever, we can accept people with a past degree, especially onto the certificate programme. The fees, this is an interesting, the fees are obviously high if you're thinking of paying them, but they're a lot lower than they would be for any equivalent masters from Queen's or Ulster. So full time in 2024-25, it'll be £2,825, and on same price really on a pro rata basis then part time is £940 per year, which is the same figure then worked out over the 3 years. So it's very, very much value for money compared to a lot of other masters. And we're just finishing up here with some information on how to apply. So we've got information on our website as to how to apply. And it can be a wee bit tricky because you have to use the Queen's website. You are Queen's students and you apply through Queen's. So you have to go to the Queen's website. We have a little video on our website which explains how you can go through the process to help you. But it's Business for Agri-Food and Rural Enterprise, and we're part of the School of Biological Sciences at Queen's. And then if you have any further questions, you ask Victoria, and we've supplied Victoria's email address for you there. And just to finish up then, the key points. So there's a very, very strong need for more managers. We've had a focus group there within the last year or so with a lot of the HR managers across the agri-food sector, Dunbee, Moy Park, Dale Farm, the major companies. And they're saying they need people with more of these soft skills management and leadership skills. So it's very much in line with what we're teaching. We've got the very competitive fees. And as I say, you've got You've got websites there for more information if you want to find out more about the programme. All right, Victoria, I think that's the main presentation completed.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you very much. And I hope you've all found that useful and it's answered some of the questions that you may have today. But we'll also have time at the end to answer some more questions as well. So I'll just now start by introducing you to Dervla, who recently graduated from our master's program in October just last year. Dervla. Hello, Dervla. Can you hear me? Or can
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, okay. Hello, hiya. Thanks again for joining us and agreeing to tell us about your own experiences of being a recent graduate. So maybe just start off, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found the experience of studying a master's with us? What was it like?
Yeah, so hello everybody. I'm Dervla McLaughlin. I started off my educational whatever course through Greenmount. To start with, I did a foundation degree in agriculture and technology. So that was a 2-year course that I did at Greenmount, and then I did a top-up degree in sustainable agriculture. And then I found myself with a degree and I was wondering, what am I going to do now? And I actually remember then a couple of years ago, I went on to this information call myself, got a wee bit of greater knowledge regarding the masters and thought, okay, that should equip me with a lot of the skills that I have not experienced, because at that point I was well, I'd been studying for 3 years and I didn't have a lot of business experience, I suppose. I had been working part-time, but I didn't have a lot of experience in that area. So I thought it would be a good idea to just kind of develop my knowledge on areas like communication and leadership and teamwork skills and things like that. So I find it was a really good stepping stone, actually, just going from a degree to then working full time. I found it gave me um, just a greater opportunity to develop my skills and develop my knowledge. And there was a lot of opportunity to meet people that were maybe in full-time employment and see what their experience had been. And it was a great way of networking with people and things like that.
Thank you. Just thinking about the focus of the program then, which is very much, as you said, around leadership, change management and communication. What's your reflections on the content of the program and has it benefited you?
Yep, so one of the biggest things I found was very beneficial was the focus on change management, because within the agricultural industry, obviously there's a lot of change, particularly at the minute there's a greater focus on things like carbon footprint and things like that. So today I work within the agricultural industry, so I found that doing the masters helped me to familiarize myself with things like frameworks. So frameworks are basically they give you an idea of step by step, how do you manage that change, what do you do, how can you improve, things like that. So all those things I could then take into my role now in full-time employment and look back on them. So no, I find it really beneficial that way, and it helped me to actually get frameworks and things like that and gain experience that I could refer back to even now. Even after I've graduated, there are things I can refer back to, and they do help me in everyday workings.
Thank you. And then just maybe chat about at the end of your program, you completed a research project. Can you tell us a little bit about your project and how that process went?
Yeah, so I completed a project on the perceptions of suck cow farmers regarding benchmarking. So for anyone that maybe isn't too familiar with the term benchmarking, benchmarking is basically looking into things like financial performance recording, maybe physical performance recording, things like that. So me myself were suck cow farmers at home, and there's a greater emphasis at the minute on performance recording within all of the sectors within agriculture. But I had found beforehand that maybe more intensive sectors like dairying and pig and poultry had experienced a lot of that, and suck cow farmers hadn't. particularly experience that. So I wanted to look at what did they have as a preconceived perception of benchmarking. Did they have a negative one? Was it positive? And what was their like baseline of their understanding of it? So how I then went about that was you start with a literature review. So it's the same kind of thing as within your degree. You look at all the existing information within that area, see what other people have found, and then I decided on my title. So, well, I decided on my title before the literature review. So me alongside my supervisor, then we come up with a title, and I then began interviewing farmers. So I interviewed the likes of some friends, maybe farmers within the market, things like that. And I recorded all the interviews from them and then gathered up my information, ran tests, t-tests, things like that, that a lot of other students would have done within their degrees, and then began to analyse that and then developed a discussion and a results from that, and then tried to work out, was that what I had expected to happen? Was there any different findings from that and things like that?
Okay, Dermot. And did you have a supervisor, or, along that process, or?
Yeah, so I was given a supervisor. My supervisor was Cormac Doherty. So there was basically I can't even remember how many times we kind of discussed it. It was probably like a weekly basis or however often. I could always email him, and we set up Teams calls, and I went into Loughry some days, and he advised me on, was there things I could be doing differently? Was there things that maybe I should be focusing on in a different way? Or he gave me a lot of advice and a lot of encouragement and motivation, kept the motivation up, I suppose, because it's quite a big process too. But no, he was very helpful, and I found even although he was my main supervisor, all the lecturer and staff, you could just ask anyone and anyone would be more than glad to help you. So yeah.
Thanks. And just a final question, is there any advice you would have, for people considering doing a master's program with us?
Yeah, so I would just say go on ahead and do it. Obviously, oh, my computer's saying it's doing an update. Hopefully, I don't lose you. But I would just say go on ahead and do it if you're maybe not as familiar with the world of work like I was. It is a great stepping stone. And also, I had always been quite interested in doing research, so it gave me another opportunity to do research, and then also things like networking with other people and seeing how they were getting on in maybe their places of work, and seeing how they handled situations. And it was a really great opportunity to meet different people, and that was probably one of the best things I took away from it. It was just a really nice environment, and because I suppose Loughry's like smaller in comparison to some other organisations, like just like Greenmount, it's a smaller kind of more close-knit community. I just find it was a really nice environment, and it was really beneficial and just another enjoyable year. And I suppose it adds another string to your bow, or whatever you want to say. So I would definitely recommend doing it, and it's more than manageable with all the help you get from all the staff, and I can't say anything bad about it. It's really beneficial. Definitely do it, and don't put it off. Try and do it now would be what I would say.
Right. Thank you very much, Dervla, for sharing such positive experiences.
Thanks
Are,
all.
are there any questions for Teresa, Dervla, or myself?
Hiya. I was just wondering, in terms of when you're filling out the form that I've already applied, but it was, do you have to apply for both full-time and part-time? Because I just wasn't sure which one I wanted to do yet, so I applied for full-time. But do I have to have a separate application for part-time? Or can it just...
I can answer that, Victoria. No, normally you would choose one or the other, but it's no problem. If you decide one and want to change the other, we can sort that out, afterwards.
Okay.
It's not a big issue. So the important thing is to get your application and get yourself approved. But is it full time you're more interested in, Kirian?
Yeah, I think it is full time I'm more interested in, but it was
Yeah,
just I was
yeah, you
thinking
weren't
maybe
sure.
of working and then doing part time on the side.
Yeah, side. Yeah, if that happens, we can transfer you onto the part-time program. So that's easy enough done through Queen's. But
Oh,
maybe Victoria maybe wants to mention there has been a bit of a delay in getting the offers out. So some of you might have questions. I don't know if any of you have gone through the application process and maybe haven't got your offers formally yet.
Yeah, so I know there's a few of you who have an application in, and I'm glad to tell you that I've been, speaking to Queens today, and they're hoping to have those offers out to you before Monday, if not on Monday. So I'll continue to keep in contact with Queens and yourselves and try and get those through as soon as possible. Any other questions or anything you want to add, Teresa?
No, I don't think so. If anybody's any questions, sure, just get in touch with yourself or me at any time and we'll talk you through the process.
Okay. So if that's all the questions, oh, sorry, go on ahead.
When is the deadline to apply?
We can't accept applications right up until middle of September. Is that right, Teresa? Before the program starts,
Yes.
really?
Well, Queens actually have a cut-off point, which is probably towards the end of August. I can usually get it extended for a week or so for late applicants, but really the advice would be if you want to, to try and apply sooner rather than later, make sure there's no issues at the last minute. But normally Queens would like the application to be in by the end of August. I don't know, we haven't been issued the formal date today as yet, Victoria, but there will be a date, but you might be asked to extend it.
Okay. Okay.
That's okay, thanks.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
This is Subeshan from India.
Hi.
Ma'am, Subeshan from India, ma'am. From India, ma'am. I'm studying in third year.
Oh, I think you're breaking up a wee bit. Maybe if you want to email or send your message into the chat, then I can either give you a wee call or reply to your question. Would that be okay? I think he's gone.
I was just going to say, in case you can just hear me, I should have said the part-time is only through face to deliver. We have occasional times when we put a few sessions online, but that's only a minor part of the program. The Queen's program is delivered face to face. So we can't offer to people, for international students who maybe want to study it from abroad, you would need to attend. And unfortunately, at the moment, we can't accept international students onto the program unless you're have got residential status in Ireland or Northern Ireland. So that's something maybe we need to talk about separately. All right.
Okay. Lauren, have you a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, what size usually? I know that it's like more of a smaller, intimate degree than what it would be in like an undergrad. I was just wondering what the class sizes usually would be for the part-time course, and how many people would usually be in the class.
Well, we have in our second years, there's in around about 10, but we have had a big group that's just graduated. I think there was 20 in that. Teresa, you'll keep me right.
Yes, that's right.
So it's
Yeah.
in around 10 of a group size. So it's a nice group size of students, and there's lots of discussion, from that. And, it is a nice intimate group.
Yeah. We aim for 10 to 15. It is a bit more tricky once you get over 15, but we have had groups of 20, 25, 27 was the biggest we've had, but mostly it's between 10 and 20, I would say. Dervla, how many was there in your class? About 14 of you, maybe, was there?
I think I was one of the smaller classes. I think there was
Oh no, that's right.
maybe
You were one. There was only 7 or 8 of you.
I
Maybe
was
did the
think I was
full.
maybe closer to
That's
10,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
But the
that's
part-time
right.
class my
The
year I think
part-time
was
class.
really big.
Yeah.
And the following year, I think the maybe was 15 or 16, yeah, or the year before you. So it just varies from year to year, really, but normally around about 10 to 15, I'd say.
Any other questions? No? Okay, so if that's all the questions, I just want to thank everybody again for joining us this afternoon, and I want to thank Teresa for her presentation and to Dervla for sharing some of your experiences of the programme, which were very positive. And again, after today, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email myself at victoria.murphy@dara-ni.gov, and you can get my details and contact information on the CAFRE website, and you can also contact us through the CAFRE website also. Today's session is recorded and it'll be going up on our website as well for you to have a wee look back on. But no, thank you for joining again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Bye bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.